3, 2, 1, go.
Hi Year 6, this is your English lesson for Thursday the 21st of January, and hopefully today we're going to get our newspaper article finished. So I've written down here for you, showing you how some of your article might look. I'm hoping yours will be much longer than this. I'll be hoping that you'd be using a double page at least in your English book. What you will need to be doing to write your article properly is to be doing lots of research. So you're going to need to find out all sorts of things about this high wire walk, okay? So these are things that I've printed from the internet. I'll send you these links. There's all sorts of things that we can find out about what he did. So this is Philippe telling us about what happened. So this is him giving a bit of a recount of what he did on this day. So it says, I arrived in the afternoon of the day before, planning to go to the roof as it got dark and to rig all night, but we were delayed. I, in my tower, and my friend in the other for hours, because we were hiding from the guards. I was terrified of getting caught. I felt like the policeman was a foot away waiting to pounce. We arrived on the roof 3 hours later than planned, and we only had half the night to rig. So you could put some details into your newspaper report about how they actually got that wire across between, it was actually a piece of cable, how they actually got it across between the towers. Now he's talking about when he took his first step. When I took that first step on the wire, I tried not to make it vibrate because I hadn't been able to check the anchor point on the other tower. After a few steps, I realised it wasn't well rigged, but I thought, it's safe enough. Even though the crowd was a quarter of a mile below, I could hear the clamour, the joyful clapping, the yelling. My almost invisible audience was part of the performance for me. So this is just him remembering what happened. Now, this tells you here that it was actually very windy. It was actually really, really windy weather when he actually did the walk. Okay, and it says that it's difficult to even stand on top of the towers without holding on to something. Even in very strong winds, the buildings sway enough to snap a steel cable tension between them. There's all sorts of things that you can find out about. He was actually researching it. He was sneaking into the Twin Towers as often as he could to make notes in preparation for his incredible stunt. You can also make sure you're magpieing from all your research as well. What can you actually find out? Oh, he had 6 accomplices, okay? He was disguised as a delivery man in order to get in, and they had fake passes to get themselves into the buildings, to actually get into the towers. I can't believe they actually got up to the top without being discovered. And he started the walk at 7 a.m. in the morning, okay? So this will be all of my research that I'd be doing, so hopefully you've been doing that using the links that I've sent to you. Let's have a think about how we could write our final paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to write a final paragraph here. So I've got my subheadings, I've got my baffled bystanders down here. I've got my conflicted cops down here, so I've got my subheadings. Okay, this is going to be my concluding paragraph. So what actually happened in the end? So, after being detained by the police, so he was actually arrested, okay? After being detained by the police, Petit, so I'm going to use his last name now, was taken to hospital, so this actually happened, for a psychiatric assessment. So they wanted to check whether or not he was actually mentally okay. They were worried about him. For psychiatric evaluation. But then he was released, but was eventually released. Okay, now let's have a think about what he actually said. We haven't got a quote from Philippe here, have we? So I think let's see what he actually said, because surely what we want to know is why. So, when interviewed, and asked why, Philippe simply answered, and this is true, I'm going to put a colon here to show, and I'm going to put my speech marks to show that it's a quote, okay? If I see 3 oranges, this is a very famous quote that he said, if I see 3 oranges, I have to juggle. If I see 2 towers, I have to walk. So now I've got a quote here from Philippe. So he's saying a little bit about what happened. So he got arrested. So after being detained by the police, Philippe was taken to hospital for psychiatric evaluation, but he was eventually released. When he was interviewed and asked why, Philippe simply answered, if I see 3 oranges, I have to juggle. If I see 2 towers, I have to walk. Now, if we do a close-up of this newspaper article, my writing isn't the neatest, but if I do a close-up, you can magpie some bits from my newspaper article. Like I said, I'd like yours to be longer. I've only done a little bit of an introduction. I've done a little bit about the opinions of the bystanders, a little bit about the opinions of the police officers, and then I've done a little bit about what happened at the end. I'd want you to have a bit more detail about how he got into those towers, who helped him. So find out as much as you can, make sure you include as many facts as you can, and let's see if you can write me a really fantastic newspaper article from doing plenty of research about this incredible stunt from 1974. And you can show me in Zoom meetings and we can have a little chat about it. So good luck, Year 6.